And welcome to DCCodingGames.com. Today I'm going to talk to you about the 5 reasons why I hate building outposts on Starfield. Now before we get into it, if you could like and subscribe, that'll be a really great help. And let's get to it. The first one I'd say is bugs. So when I build a cargo bay and I've got resources coming in and then going out to a certain place, I want them to be those 2 items, but sometimes there are random items and you're having to like delete the storage cargo and delete the cargo link, which is so frustrating. Like, why do you have to spend so much time trying to work on things that the developers have just mucked up? I've had it at one point where I had uranium come into the cargo bay and I was like, but hang on, I've got this home base and I want all my resources there, so all the outputs should be all the resources, and then all the stuff coming from the home base should be the hydrogen and water. But instead, what did it put in? A solid uranium or something. And I was like, why? There was no link that I created like that. Ships, I mean, when you land on an outpost, okay, you have to get out, you have to find the outpost, you build the outpost and stuff, but I've had it where I've landed and then I put a landing bay, I went away from the outpost, I've come back and it didn't use the landing pad, and I was like, but why? And then I'm overweight, I'm trying to run as fast as I can back to the ship to go to another outpost, just wasting a lot of time. I've also had it where the ship's disappeared. And at this point, if you've got lots of resources and stuff, you're very heavy, it takes ages. And sometimes you'll find that, oh shit, okay, I'll build an airlock, but I don't have enough for that. Oh my goodness, like, and then you have to go back to a saved game. Some of the functionality and stuff, they need to add things to it because it's all wrong. Okay, I feel that this system, you're supposed to be able to have multiple resources, because in the skills, you can do an outpost skill or habitational skill and up your outposts to quite high. I think it's something like 30 something, and I think even higher actually. Anyway, comment on that. So I had this triangle, you see, and I wanted all to come down to my home base, so the home base would be everything that would have all the resources, and I found that there's only like 5 resources going into the cargo bay at one time. So if you had a load of other outposts up, or actually below, going up to the main hub, then it doesn't work, because the cargo ships don't have enough cargo room and it's only allowing 5 resources at a time. So it doesn't work. If they increased the cargo limit and how many resources can go into a ship at one time, then this would improve things massively, but you'd have to get rid of those bugs as well. Thirdly, when I go and start an outpost on a section and I start to go around and I find, okay, I've got 3 resources here, okay, let's place this outpost, but it doesn't tell me how much area I have for those material resources. Also, when you start scanning a planet, you get the main resources, but I don't see a way where you can find all the very unique resources. If anybody knows how, let me know. So the unique resources, meaning the 3 dotted or the dots on the resources. Fourthly, I don't see any advantage of building an outpost, because all these resources that you get, they sell for much less. For instance, I had a resource you only gain like 1 out of it, which is odd. But even then, if you build a humongous amount of resources and you built like 5,000 credits isn't that much. I mean, you may as well steal a ship. The only way I think in that sense an outpost would work if you were crafting things and making more valued items, but still they don't go for that much, and also maybe go for the most expensive material out there. You might make a profit where you could have just gone to a vendor and then him to get you all the stuff, and that's it, you know. And also, when I started doing an outpost, I thought, oh, this is cool, I'll be able to make weapons and mods and things for my weapons. And then no developers, no Helium. I mean, you really have to have a direct link with Helium for your ships to lift off if they're going into space or using the grav drive. I mean, Helium is just annoying because I've had it where my triangle's like this. I've had an outpost up there, and then I've had my home out there. So I thought, okay, the home can input Helium all the way up, but no, they make it so much more complicated, so it only went halfway. So then my top layer, I had to have an extra outpost with just Helium to then source all of my outposts. That's stupid. So I ended up having 2 or 3 different areas where I was getting Helium. Does that make sense? In conclusion, I think yes, okay, for outposts, you can gain XP and credits and stuff, but for the time it takes, is it really necessary? Whereas you could be concentrating all the missions and all the other stuff that Starfield brings, which is great. And I love the shipbuilding. I think that's such a good aspect of the game, and I might actually do that for my next video. If you want me to keep doing these videos, please do subscribe, that always helps. But in reality, there are so many different strategy games you can do out there that are much better than Starfield's Outposts. If you are buying Starfield just for the Outpost, I'd say don't bother. If you're buying Starfield because you like all the other aspects of the game, great. But there are other games like Railway Empire 2, Medieval Dynasty. Yeah, they're more simpler, but they've got their systems down for resource building and stuff. Oh, and actually you can watch them here. I hope you found this video useful. Please comment in the section below to let me know what you think. You might think Outposts are great, and that's fine. Let me know.